My name is Monica Gleberman, and you're listening to Silence on Set podcast. On today's podcast, we're talking to one of the cast members from Hallmark's new hit series, The Way Home. The show focuses on Kat Landry, her 15-year-old daughter Alice, and Kat's estranged mother, Dell. All of them are strong, willful, and independent women. More than 20 years prior, life-changing events created a chasm in their family that time has yet to repair. Kat and Dell still aren't on speaking terms. Alice has never met her grandmother and is unaware of the reasons for their fractured family. While the three generations come together under one roof for the first time in more than 2 decades, a surprising discovery unexpectedly sets the trio on a path towards healing and helps them find their way back to one another. So to talk about the show and what fans can expect, here's Sadie Laflamme-Snow. I wanted to ask you, when you read initially for Alice and you heard about kind of like the music aspect, the portal stuff, like the multi-families that you're dealing, almost like 2 storylines, if you will, kind of that you're going back and forth with, were you like, did you hesitate, or like how did you kind of break that down to be like, okay, this is what I'm going to tackle first, this is how I'm handling it?
When I got the scenes, I was like, one of them was like Alice in 2023. She was just like being so hard on her parents. It was like the scene with Kat and Brady and Alice, like after she throws the party and like ditches school, and she's so mad and she's just like trying to punish them for like what's going on in her life. And then the other scene was the dinner table scene when she first goes back to the 90s and she meets Colton and she meets Jacob and she sees Dell and she meets her mom as a teenager, and it's like that sweet dinner party with like, you know, they're playing the guitar, they're like just like the cutest little scene. And so I'm like, okay, this girl is like 2 completely different people all in one episode. Like, this is crazy. And I knew that there was this time travel aspect. I will say I did not know it was via pond when I was auditioning. It was already such an interesting challenge in the initial audition that I was like hooked right away. And there was the singing aspect in the audition too. So I was like, this has like, you know, it's challenging, it's interesting. It was really touching because, you know, she's like, just the fact that she's meeting people that she would have never otherwise met because of this tragedy in their family, like it was so exciting. And so right away, you know, I was like, I just want to like, okay, I was beginning to like dive right in, and then I was like, okay, that's so on the nose with the whole pond thing. I seriously was really, really excited. You know, you do so many auditions that you just kind of like, you send them off and then you never think about them again because if you thought about them too much, you would like be heartbroken every time you didn't hear back. This was one that I was kind of like, I feel like I need to know where this is going. You know, I had a connection to it right away, and I think that says something for how touching this story is and like how much you want to know more. Because even in the first audition, there's that line where she says to Jacob, like, you know, you take care of yourself, okay? And I didn't know the scope of this story, and I was just like, I think something happens to this little boy. And I remember my friends being like, I don't know what you're talking about, like it's just one. And I was like, no, I have a feeling. And so I think there was just a lot of moments in that process where I was like, I have a feeling that this is something really, really interesting and exciting. And every script that's come out, I've just been like more and more excited. And I think like, you know, that's what I've been saying to people about the rest of the season. I'm like, everything you think is gonna happen will happen, and then everything you don't think is gonna happen is also gonna happen.
It's so funny because there's so much heart in it. And I feel like when people hear Hallmark, they might think like horny, right? Like, or like cutesy. This is like next level. I feel like Hallmark really like upped it with this show because it's just so heartfelt. And I think so many people can relate to, like you said. For me, I was like, oh, I wish I could go back in time and see. Like, my parents met, my mom was 14, my dad was 15. So I'm like, that would have been so cool to like go back and see like them meeting and what it was like, and like being friends with my mom without her knowing like it's me and all of that kind of stuff. So was that fun for you to play? And then did you ever think about it in terms of like your own life, like what that would be like going back in time?
People have asked me a bunch of times, like, would you want to be in the position that Alice is in? I would say absolutely. I think that, you know, my parents didn't meet when they were teenagers or anything, but I think that, you know, my mom is a lot like my little sister, and my little sister is my best friend. And so I'm like, yeah, I'd go back because it would just be like, you know, perfect. We'd be best friends, just like just like Alice and Kat. And I mean, my mom is my best friend now too, so it's like, you know, here or there. But I've thought about it a lot, And I think like it's one of those things, like you said, that makes people kind of lean in and be like, whoa, this is actually like something I really like thinking about, of like how much it complicates things. And like, of course you think it would be cool, but then like what happens to your relationships in the present when you have this ability to go to the past like that? And so it really makes their relationships so complex and so interesting. And I think that's what this show is doing, that's so exciting and so kind of new. It's just been like such an honor to explore these things that I think really touch a lot of people.
So I wanted to ask you, first of all, you have gorgeous hair. You're like a mermaid when you come out of the pond. So I was like, oh my gosh, she's like beautiful. Like, so you have this gorgeous hair. And I love that in the 90s, it's kind of like crimpy a little bit. And then like when we see you current, it's like straight. So I have to ask, was it fun? Because I'm assuming you're much younger than me. I'm 36. I lived in the 90s. Was it fun for you to like kind of jump into the 90s?
My favorite things about the two timelines is the fashion and like all that stuff. I think at the beginning, like obviously Alice is just like really confused and like trying to keep a low profile, but all the sharing clothes with Kat and like the socializing that they do, she really like embraces it, and she starts kind of, you know, integrating it more into who she is as a person. And so I love that.
And for the music, you sing so beautifully. So is this something like you're going to pursue at some point? Is there going to be a soundtrack related to this show? I need to know all the details.
I would love if they, you know, release some of the music stuff for people to listen to. But singing actually like has always come first for me. Like, you know, my first like love in terms of performing was always singing. And so it's been so cool to get to do that in an on-screen context, because I've always done it like live but not on screen. It's been really, really fun. I re-taught myself how to play the guitar for the role. So that was kind of cute too. And then I really look forward to the rest of the season. There's a couple more like singing moments that I think people will, you know, be into, and we'll see where it goes from here. It's like, it's my first time singing on screen, so I really fell in love with it, and I hope that there's more of that in store for Alice as we go along.
It's so good. I mean, it's beautiful, you're singing. Like right away, I was like, I hope there's a soundtrack. But I wanted to also ask you if you could steal something from the 90s, but if you could go back in time, they have Walkmans, cool outfits. I love like the music and the references. So is there anything that you would steal or want to like keep with you from the 90s?
I'm gonna say I would keep all the clothes that I borrowed from Teen Kat, or just like in general the 90s style. That would be my thing. I feel like every time I say, oh my god, I really want this piece of clothing, my mom was like, I owned that. Like, I don't know why I got rid of it. That's how I feel about the 90s stuff. I'm like, oh, I wish I still had that, or you know. So
I wanted to just ask you really quickly, in terms of working with Evan, he is the only other kind of character that sort of might, you know a little bit of the back and forth. So I want to know how much fun that was for you, and then what you're hoping fans can expect from the show.
I feel like, you know, keeping track of two timelines is like a huge undertaking. And, you know, we have the amazing showrunners who know every single little detail. But Evan was really like, you know, my go-to person when it came to like the time travel conversations and like all the questions that like you have to hash out and think about to do all these scenes that deal with like, you know, what do I know in the past and how does it affect me in the present, and like what order is everything happening in, and like how does this affect Elliot and all that. So we would like really put our heads together and like get those questions answered, and like he really has the brain for that kind of thing. Like he's very much like Elliot in that way, and so I think both on screen and off we kind of were those people for each other. So it was really great. It's really funny to read like, you know, Twitter and stuff, and people are like, how does, you know, Kat not remember Alice? And then the next episode that gets answered. So the thing that I'm excited for is all the questions that people haven't even come up with yet, that we kind of put out there and challenge the characters and the audience to think about. And all of that stuff is to come, and just like how these time travel, you know, what the consequences are. And, you know, that kind of moral question of like, if I could go back, would I change my family's lives forever and made them who they are today in a not so great way? Like, do I want to interfere? Is it possible to interfere? And so we're going to go there with the rest of the season, and I'm really excited for people to see that and just like, you know, be completely shocked at everything that happens going forward.
Hope you guys enjoyed listening to Sadie talk about her character and what fans can expect for this upcoming season. The show will premiere on January 15th on the Hallmark channel, so make sure you go and check it out. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you're updated on all of our latest podcasts, and head over to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe so you're updated on all of our video content.